Hello everyone and welcome to this video. So Coach Dave Academy have brought Delta to Gran Turismo 7, which is fantastic news to be honest with you. Let me explain a little bit about Delta. So Delta is able to log your inputs from Gran Turismo. It's able to log your sector times. And with that, it will help you improve as a driver. How, you may ask? Well, let's look at it from way back when I did GT Academy 2011. Yes, 13 years ago. I used spreadsheets, okay? Spreadsheets to work out where my bad sectors were, where my good sectors were, and how I could improve. I compared this against Outburner and Tidgney, who were the top two drivers at the time, and again, would compare. So I'm 2 tenths down in Sector 2. I need to improve in Sector 2, for example. Whichever sector was the largest gap was the sector I would focus on. This is what this is all about. I don't have to use spreadsheets anymore because guess what? The Delta records it for me. And with that, it allows me then to focus on the data without having to set up all the background and start calculating sectors, etc. Because it does it for me. I can focus then on the sector where I need to improve the most. A lot of people watch my videos and, you know, they look at my guys and go, I'm doing the exact same as you, Tidge. I'm doing the exact same. But you're not. You might be a tenth later on the brakes. Or 10 meters later on the brakes. You might be braking 10 meters earlier on the brakes. And you don't realize it. Well, Delta is there to help you. So it can give you a bit of an advantage now in order to improve as a driver. And that's the critical thing in all of this. If you want to improve as a driver, use Delta. That's what I'm using from this point onwards. Now it's in Gran Turismo. It's great. I can use it. Those that don't know, in the recent time trial with the Honda RA270, what I did is I was logging it on a spreadsheet, but I was also doing something else. Now, as you know, I video edit. I literally got the fastest ghost I could find, my lap time on a replay, and I literally did corner by corner, stopping and starting the video. Now, that takes me 20, 25 minutes. Arguably, I can do it in 25 seconds now because Delta does it for me. I mean, that's a massive time save for me, and it'll also tell me the exact detail rather than trying to line up frames, bring it forward, bring it back. Absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to be using Delta to try and get a competitive edge. I really am. I'm going to be looking to improve as much as I can again and get myself back up into the top level a little bit. So the time trials at the moment have come at a bit of a weird time, if I'm honest with you, with work being very busy. However, later on, I'm going to start trying to improve and really getting my times and finesse back where it used to be. So having a quick look at this then on Delta, you can see here I've loaded 2 laps on the left hand side. We've got a 120.169 and a 120.129. This is the latest AMG time trial out there. I've not played it for a week or even a bit longer than a week. So I've just jumped back on now and I want to see the differences. My fastest time is a 119.8. I need to start learning this time trial in order to improve. Up at the top here, you can see the Delta differences as we go through the lap. There's not much change there at all until this moment right here, which is very significant. And then as we keep going through here, you can see the Delta change. And it starts to even up again. But this is nice to see, actually. If I'm brutally honest with you, you can see it goes up to 1.5 tenths and then comes back down. So we actually had a bit of a weird last corner. And you can see that on the right-hand side as well, you know, with the track map. So it's really good how it lays it out. You can really see the differences in terms of the Delta. It's not only the Delta, you can obviously see the speed differences right here. Now, as most of you know, I drive in miles an hour, but it shows in kilometers an hour here. And, I mean, I imagine you could change this, by the way, but even so, it shows in kilometers an hour. It's arguably the more accurate speed source here. And as you can see, we've got speed differences all the way down going into turn 1. So you can see as I hit the brakes, you know, it's a different speed there, 4 kilometers an hour at that point. And that's going into the braking zone. So obviously between the 2 laps, I've hit the brakes earlier on my faster lap compared to the slightly slower lap where I'm carrying a bit more speed in. Now, what does that do in terms of lap times? You can see the lap time up at the top. Really nice to see this, actually. So if we come down here a little bit, we can see the throttle change here. And again, this is all going into turn number 1. So this will be a gear change, I imagine. Do we have gear change on here? Yes, we do. So it's right there. And look at that. It's bang on the gear change. Who knew? Look at that. Nice and easy. So as we come into here, we're then on the gears. So we do drop pretty much the same in 4th gear. 3rd gear is delayed on the gold lap until a bit later. And stuff like that is very critical when you're looking at laps, because again, I've said this before, a lot of people say, Tidge, I'm doing the exact same as you. But critically, notice even here, I'm not doing the exact same as myself on a lap per lap basis. The lap comes out very similar, but the timing of the gear change is very different. Look at that. I'm in third gear on the blue lap, fourth gear on the faster lap. Now we can look at the delta then and see the difference. Am I up? Am I down? Etc. And literally, with seeing that and the delta for that, you can say, okay, am I actually losing time by changing gear later, or am I gaining time? And you can see that all the way down. You can see the RPM down below as well, but that's not critical. You can see the braking here as well. So I'm very much on the brakes, 100% far quicker, far quicker. So in fact, we go on the brakes at around the exact same time there, 6.27 versus 5.49. But as we continue in towards the braking zone, up to 100% instantly, nearly there. I'm hard on the brakes, really being aggressive, which you expect in the AMG. But on the red lap there, it's still at 70% there. So as we come back down, we're actually releasing the brakes. We're staying on the brakes longer at 100%, and then we release it quicker. So we're not rolling off the brakes. We're literally on and then off. And you can see that there. And you can analyze this in such detail. This is fantastic. It really is fantastic. I'm really liking the look of this. It's just awesome. Like in terms of the data and what it gives you, it's so much more than what I would do on a spreadsheet. I can look at this. So I really wanted to, just to explain, I really wanted to do or try hard the Honda time trial. I couldn't due to work, etc. If it was later on in the year, I'd be all over that. And this software would be mega for this. Like mega. Because as I say, I analysed the lap versus lap comparison. I could see slight differences here and there, and I could see where I was in better in some places and not others. This sort of thing blows my mind, because now I can look at it and go, I need to go on the throttle 0.1 of a second earlier. And I've done that before in other sims. You know, I've compared against other laps and said, I need to be quicker on this corner. I need to be quicker on this corner. I need to be on the throttle earlier on this corner. The software tells you. This is awesome. Absolutely awesome. It really is. I'm looking forward to using this even more. I'm a geek for data. You know, my real life job, I am MI Systems and Business Intelligence Lead is my official job title. It's data. And my job is all about data, managing data, showing data. I love data, and this is all the data you need. So if you are a bit of a data geek, you'll love this anyway. But if you want to improve, you need something like this. So let me explain GT Academy 2013 when I made the European final. Guess what we used in one of the tests? Literally telemetry like this. It was a case of, where am I weak? Where am I strong? They showed me the reference lap that the instructor had done. And guess where I was weak? In braking. So we could go down to here now and say, are we weak in braking? Well, the braking in this particular corner here, so this is turn 2, arguably, or turn 3, the right-hander anyway, at the end of sector 1. The braking is very different there. Very different. It's more aggressive on the faster lap. And it's more, well, it's just a bit weird there. It's inconsistent on the red lap, which is the slower lap. So in that situation, I'd be looking at that, okay, and I'd be going, okay, I need to improve in this situation. I really do need to improve. And you can see there with the reference lap, because it was harder and then straight off, it's very much the weight is consistent in the car. This is very much the weight will be all over the place in the car and making it unstable. The next braking zone, very similar actually. And you can see that with the lines. This one very similar. Again, similar. This one very much bit different. So where is that? That's the left-hander after the corkscrew. So that would be an interesting one to fix. Very hard one to fix, that one, for sure. And this one very similar in the last corner. As you can see, the telemetry is very close, but this corner in particular, very much different. You can see it's very much different here on throttle as well. The speed are very much similar throughout all the corners. So, you know, when you look at these laps and you say, oh, Tidge, I'm doing the same as you. You may be the same speed, but we're seeing how the speed varies as I go through the lap and how time differs. What we should do really is look at a different lap. So we'll compare and use this lap as a reference. This is a slower lap, okay? A much slower lap. And you can see here how we gain on that lap by the end of it then. So initially we are behind. We go even further behind. So this is in the middle of turn 1. We're a 10th down. And as we come out that corner, we're still a 10th down as we head towards turn 2. Very significant there. Very significant indeed. It shows that our turn 1 could be better. What the difference is in turn 1 again. So in braking zones, you can see the reference lap 100% quicker. Now we saw that with the other lap we just referenced. So clearly the 120.169 lap that I'm looking at now, my braking was atrocious into turn 1. And that shows where next time I jump into the sim, racing game, or whatever you want to call it, when I jump in, I know that I need to be on the brakes 100% very quickly. Very quickly indeed. Again, similar, the dodgy braking into that second turn we're seeing on this 120.373 is a similar one to this one in terms of the braking. In fact, I'm pretty sure I should be able to show you this. So we just jump to that one, and hang on, let me figure this one out. So I want to jump to that lap and compare against that lap. There we go. Look at that. That is far more similar here in this situation. So we're on the 120.373 laps. You can see the delta at the end there. So this is the lap that we're on versus the lap we are comparing against. Speed difference, there's a bit of a weird difference here. So arguably is that where we lose some time? It is indeed. Look at that straight away, so we can see the difference there. And that is on the left. Oh, that's on the kink there. So I've not carried enough speed through the corner. You can see that. Look at that, 10 kilometers an hour difference. That is very significant there. And you can see down here as well with the throttle input, it's a bit all over the place there. And that's something that I would need to improve on. But again, you can see the strength of this, and that's the critical part of all this. Obviously, no fuel is used here. That's the critical part of this software. You can use it to improve. So what I would do in this situation, okay, I'm on the 120.3 and comparing it against the 120.1. What I would do in this situation is like, all right, what is one of the key problems with this lap? Well, what we're looking at here is the kink, and that is what I would look at improving. That's where the significant difference is. That's where I lose a lot of time straight away, and that is where I need to improve. So my focus when I jump next into the sim is to focus on that corner and go, right, okay, I need to improve on this corner and really focus on that. I don't really worry about anything else in a lap. When I do compare laps, I go, right, what is the one area I need to focus on? Because if you get that corner right every single time, so you build up that strength, you get it right, guess what? When you do these laps over and over and over again, your overall lap time will improve. Then you start to focus on the next corner that you're struggling at, and you can keep building on the lap like so. And we've seen that in Gran Turismo lately, you know, the AMG lap, that's come down to a lap I wasn't expecting. The Honda lap, that's also come down because people have gradually improved their lap times. What you think is not possible soon becomes possible. I'm going to be looking to improve as much as I can again and get myself back up into the top level a little bit. So the time trials at the moment have come at a bit of a weird time, if I'm honest with you, with work being very busy. However, later on, I'm going to start trying to improve and really get in my times and finesse back where it used to be. I'll be using Delta, that is for sure. So it's an awesome thing that Coach Dave have brought to Gran Turismo, and I'll certainly be using it, that is for sure.